Hello, good morning, and welcome to the live class. Today we're talking about the word do. Well, we're practicing phrases with the word do. So I have a few phrases that use the word do. Last week we had a class with phrases that use the word make. So it seemed like a logical, next class to have. Yeah, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're having a good Saturday. Here we're just getting started in Saturday. It's 10 a.m. So yeah, my day's been going well so far. I've kind of just been doing a little cleaning in the house, made myself a coffee. But it's not real coffee because I'm trying to cut down on coffee. So it's like this fake wheat coffee, which is fine. I think the flavor is pretty good. Hello from Egypt. Hi, welcome. How are you guys doing today? That topic should be doable. Yeah, exactly. So that's our first word with do. Doable. And welcome. We have a few people from India today. Nice. India, Egypt. Cut down is reduce. Yeah. I'm cutting down on coffee. Exactly. I'm trying to cut down on my coffee intake. We also say that. You can cut down on coffee or cut down on your coffee intake also. Hello from Buenos Aires. Good morning. Yeah, so I have a few phrases prepared that we're going to talk about. And like usual, if you have any examples that you want to give, feel free to put them in the chat. And I like to read the examples and kind of give some corrections as well. How long will you cut down on coffee? I think I wanted to cut down for like a couple weeks, and before I was drinking just too much coffee every day, so I ran out of coffee, like I used the last of my bag, so I thought, okay, I'm going to wait to buy coffee for a couple weeks, and then I'll buy it again. So that's my strategy, is like, okay, I'm just gonna see if I can hold off on buying it for a little bit. And also, I will upload this video to my profile after, so in case you guys don't see the whole live class. Cutting down sugar is more important. I think it depends on what you're addicted to. I was addicted kind of to coffee. I feel like it was making me feel kind of anxious. Yeah, and just like in the morning, I felt really groggy if I didn't have coffee. So I know that cutting down on sugar is important too, but for me personally, I felt like I had this kind of addiction to caffeine. So it felt like that was important for me to do. Okay. So I'm going to teach you guys some phrases. Hello from Quebec. Hello. Okay. The first one, and maybe you have heard some of these before and maybe you haven't. The first one is to do a double take. To do a double take. Does anyone know what it means to do a double take? Hi, Fabio. Hi, Nicolas. Welcome. Welcome to the class. So, to do a double take, does anyone know what that means? I had to do a double take. Okay. All right, I'll tell you guys the definition. So, this is to look twice at someone or something because you're surprised. So, for example, she did a double take because she saw him at the airport. So imagine that I know you and I see you outside and I go like, I see I see you like this and I don't really pay attention and then I go, "Oh, it's you." That is a double take. It's like when you look twice at someone out of surprise. So I see you, wait, I know this person. Double take. You could also do a double take if you see something crazy in the street. You could say, like, the clown doing a dance made me do a double take, or I had to do a double take. So, has anyone here had a situation recently where maybe you were in public and you needed to do a double take? I'm thinking, for me, it happens a lot with people. Like sometimes when I'm walking outside, I am not looking at people's faces very well. Like I kind of look at the nature, and then sometimes it's a person that I know, and so then I do a double take and realize, oh, I know that person. And I look at them again and say, oh, okay, sorry, I nice to see you. Or, yeah, anything that could be running into a stranger, something that's surprising in general. Like if you saw an old woman carrying something very heavy, like in a surprising way, you could say, oh, okay, that's normal, and then, wait, what? And when you look again, that is called doing a double take. I would say to double check something is more like to, it would be used in other contexts. Double take is specifically for just like looking at something again that surprised you. And to double check something is like there was some sort of information and you want to see if it's correct. Like, hey, I just want to double check that we're meeting at your house at 5 p.m., for example. So it's a similar, like the use of the word double has that same idea, like a second time. But in this case, it's really specifically like you're looking a second time at someone or something to do a double take. Okay, so that's the first one that I had. We also have, this is a good one, to do someone good. Someone said, if some of my friends see me now I'm back in the city, they might do a double take. Yeah, exactly. Like if they're kind of surprised to see you again. Exactly. Hi, Hilda. Yeah, of course. No problem. Silly sausage. I had to do a double take at the price of the groceries. Yeah, that happens a lot. I think when you see a price and you're like, okay, sure, I'll get this cheese. And then you're like, what? Siete lucas? Why is it so expensive? I'm from Washington, D.C. in the United States. Hello, greetings from Indonesia. Welcome. Okay, so that's to do a double take. We also have to do someone good. So, for example, this is to benefit or help someone. You could say, a short walk in the fresh air will do you good. So this is a fixed expression, right? So when you're thinking of like English grammar, you could think, it will be good for you. That's kind of like using the typical structure. But in this case, we're talking about a fixed expression, an expression that doesn't change. It's not possible to use make, for example. It's not possible to change things. And hi, JFV. Okay. And hi, Alex. You were in Santiago, Chile. That's cool. I'm in Viña del Mar, Chile. So, for example, a short walk in the fresh air will do you some good. Or you could just say will do you good, but I don't know, to add something will do you some good. Or to do you good. Lending, is it like lending me some money will do me some good? Maybe. Unless you want to say will do you some good to lend me some money. Okay, we have a lot of people from Argentina today. Nice. So, what is something that this is maybe another way to give someone advice. So, for instance, when we're giving advice, you could say, you should do this, you ought to do this, but another option is, this will do you good. So that's another thing that you can say. Also, thank you, Hussein. I appreciate that. Also, Carlos, it's not make a workout, it's do a workout. So we do exercise. Do combines with exercise. I reckon a cuppa will do you some good. I think so, even though I'm trying to reduce my coffee intake. You're a Dominican from New York City. Awesome. Short walk is exactly free. That's true. You must would be stronger, yeah. Is ought to as common as should and must? No, I think should is like the most common when you're just giving advice. Must is stronger. I don't really use must in like telling a friend like you must do this. I would say you have to is more common to say it like when it's an obligation in conversation. I use must more in the sense of speculation. Like, what was that noise? Ah, it must have been a raccoon. So, in terms of like indicating to people things, I typically use more should and have to. Must could be more like authoritative, like your company rule book or something. Going to bed earlier will do you some good. And I like this example a lot because when we're adding a verb or action at the beginning of the sentence, you need to use the ing verb. So that's a great example. I'd like to go to New York. Going to New York would do me some good. Or will do me some good. Both of those could be the case. Good morning, Gabby. Yeah, of course. Welcome. To playing basketball will do me good or does me good. I would say. Playing basketball will do me some good, is what I would say. Yeah, and also, ought to. Yeah, you could say you ought to play some basketball also. That works too. That's for advice. Doing exercise will do me some good. Exactly. Going outside will do me some good. All right, so that's to do someone some good. We also have to do someone a favor. So if anyone has an example of this, to do someone a favor. Again, I'm including these because a lot of people have trouble distinguishing, like, okay, when do we use make, especially Spanish speakers, and maybe other Romance language speakers, distinguishing between when do we use make and when do we use do. So, For example, to do someone a favor, that's another case where we're going to use do and not make. We never say make a favor. It's always do a favor. Getting a new job will do me some good for my mental health. Yeah, exactly. Listening to Charmin will do you some good. True. That should be my slogan. Yeah, so to do someone a favor. Okay, so Hilda, I would say eating healthy. Use the ing verb when the verb is at the beginning of the sentence. So eating healthy is something that will do you some good. Would be perfect. So I would just add the ing to the word eating. Do me a favor. Be a lad and fetch me some water. That's good. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so make is using your hands and doing is more intellectual issues. I wouldn't say that because there are a lot of exceptions. Because, for instance, with house chores, we do the dishes and we do the laundry. Sometimes we say, oh, make is to create something and do is more like the action. So, for example, a teacher makes the homework, but the students do the homework, right? So, like, the actual creation of it is done by the teacher, but then the doing of it is by the students. But then you have a lot of exceptions. So, for instance, we make money. Like, if you earn money, you could say, I make $50 a week or something like that. I make money, but you're not printing the money. So I would say you could think of it like make in a lot of contexts is to create, and do in a lot of contexts is to do an action. But at the same time, you're also going to see a lot of other collocations or other fixed expressions that don't fit into that category. Can you do me a favor? Could you do me a favor and take my kid from the school? I would say pick up my kid from school. Or bring my kid home from school. My teacher did me a favor by giving me extra points on the final exam. So we give extra points on the final exam. Can you please explain the rule of using ing at the beginning of the sentence? Yeah, so the rule is basically that when an action is a subject or an object in the sentence, it's not like there's a person that does it. It's like the actual action is the subject of the sentence. We use the ing verb. So I'm not saying I swim every day. I'm saying swimming, and swimming is like the subject. Swimming is good for my health, for instance. And so when we do that, we need to use the ing, the gerund, when it's the subject of the sentence. You also see it when it's the object of the sentence. So, like, the best, I don't know, for instance, when people say, I love swimming, you're kind of using it as an object. Or, his favorite hobby is reading. When you have that is there of like, his favorite hobby is reading, for instance. So sometimes also when it's the object of the sentence, but definitely if it's the subject of the sentence, like this action plus the verb to be, and then you're explaining the action. Swimming is good for your health. Swimming, you could also say swimming helps you think more clearly. So it could be swimming and then any sort of verb afterwards. we're going to put the subject as an ing. It can help you, to be honest. It helps if you remember it this way. In English, we often put the subject at the beginning of the sentence, and if you're starting a sentence with a verb, unless it's a command, you should start it with the ing verb. That's how I would remember it more easily. Could you do someone a favor? Could you do me a favor? So replace someone with any person. Could you do me a favor? Thank you, Nicolas. Can you please take me home? So it's not necessary to use do if you replace do with another action. So can you please take me home? Yeah, I love reading, for example. That's one where the object is the ing verb. Stop doing favors for people. We do a favor for people. You could also say reading is his favorite hobby. Yeah, exactly. So either way, the reading is going to have an ing verb. Because it's kind of the focus of the sentence, right? It's the subject of the sentence. Reading is his favorite hobby. Yeah. In the same way where if I say like, reading makes me happy. If it's possible to replace the verb with an object, like chocolate makes me happy, that's another indication that it's possible to use the ing verb there. Because in that case, like, chocolate is the focus of the sentence in the same way that the gerund is. Okay, I have another one. Okay, so to do a number on someone, I don't know if you guys have heard this one before. Why is it not... If you said, is reading her favorite hobby, that's a question. Is reading her favorite hobby? Yes, reading is her favorite hobby. Chocolate makes me reading. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. That seems like it could be on a t-shirt or something. Okay, we also have to do... Let me see. Okay, I like this one. To do a number on someone. Okay. Yeah, so to do... Yeah, I can be closer to the microphone. To do a number on someone is... I'm not sure if anyone has heard this expression before, but I'm going to explain it. So, to do a number on someone is to trick, cheat, or harm someone emotionally or physically. So, for instance, I could say, that prank he pulled really did a number on her confidence. So, to do a number on something is to harm it affect something in a negative way. So like Sylvia's example here, the market downturn really did a number on home prices. Exactly. Yeah, so did a number is like really negatively affected something. What is the origin in logic? I don't know. This is a phrase that I hear a lot, so I didn't learn it because of a logic. I just learned it because it's a common to hear people say. Let me see. Okay, so To do a number on someone originates from American slang, likely from the mid-20th century, and means to cause a significant impact or harm on someone. It is believed to have evolved from the use of number in the context of performances or acts, suggesting an action with a strong outcome, often negative. The phrase is commonly used to describe situations where someone has been hurt, fooled, or defeated. So, for instance, the phrase's exact origins are not known, but it could have a connection to boxing, where different types of punches might be described with numbers. So he did a number. Also, the use of number could be a performance or act. Do a number could suggest the idea of causing a significant impact executing an action. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a specific origin of it. Yeah. Yeah, different types of punches assigned to different types of numbers. So it might be related to boxing. Honestly, even if that's not the origin, just use that as a mental image to help you. So if my punch is worth 100 points, I did a number, like a 10-point punch on you, a big damage. We are dealing with inflation here in Argentina, so they can put any number in the supermarket. Yeah, you could say the leaders of the country did a number on the economy here. I've also heard it when talking about toilets. Like if someone goes into the bathroom for like 45 minutes and then you're like, he did a number on the on the toilet. Oh, okay, no, like number 1 and number 2 with the toilet. Yeah, okay, now I understand. The broker did a number on me. She had one price, raised it, so I bought it at a higher price. Yeah. The new tariffs had done a number on importation products. Yes, exactly. Today we're talking about phrases that use the word do. So right now we're talking about the phrase to do a number on someone. You could also think of it like a person, like, yeah, her ex-boyfriend cheated on her so many times. It really did a number on her self-esteem. It really did a number on her self-confidence, for example. So it could be about like economics, a person's self-esteem, anything that could be like very negatively affected. You can say it did a number on and then the thing. So this is, again, a fixed expression. So it's one where when we're using it, we're not thinking of the literal words. We're using it all together for one fixed meaning when we're using this expression. It sounds like take a toll on someone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's kind of like a synonym, I would say. The tariff did a number on American consumers. Yes, exactly. To pull a fast one on someone is more like to trick someone. So like if I sell you a car for double the price and I'm very tricky, I pull a fast one on you. But to do a number on someone is more like to negatively harm someone in general, like, or negatively harm the economy or something like that. So, yeah, to pull a fast one is more like the person has the intention to prank or to pull a prank. If someone wants to do, no, not make me a favor, do me a favor. Remember, today is all about do me a favor. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys another one. We also use do in these expressions related to removing something, getting rid of, and surviving without. So, to do away with. This is another good one. Do away with. Yes, that's a great example too. Lying about his abilities really did a number on getting the job. Nice. Also, no worries, Maximiliano. I was just hammering the class theme of the day of do versus make. How can I memorize English faster? I would say you should change your mentality, because have you memorized your native language? I feel like language is not something we can memorize. So the first step is to abandon your current strategy of trying to memorize English. The second step is to learn English in context and surround yourself with English. Try to find content that you enjoy and enjoy the process, and try to produce English as much as possible. Or work in a call center. This problem did a number on me. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know you were a sketchy car saleswoman. Yeah. So, okay, so then we have to do away with. To do away with is to get rid of or abolish something. So, for example, many schools have done away with uniforms to promote individuality. That is something that you want to get rid of, is to do away with. What's your name? I'm sorry, I found you by chance. My name is Maggie. Some people call me Charmin because my account is Charm English. So that's like my internet alter ego, but my actual name given to me by my parents is Maggie. Yeah, I think that a lot of people want to memorize language because it gives you a semblance of control. Like, okay, I just have to memorize all of this. But I think that will make it way more frustrating in the long run. Maggie Carmencita is my name. No, I'm just kidding. My second name is Lee, Lee. Maggie Lee Carson. My sister did a number on us. She inherited most of my mother's stuff. Yeah, very dramatic. That's a good one. I wish I could do away with all the traffic lights, but then I'd just end up doing away with my patience instead. Okay, I like that example. That's a good one. Thank you, guys. I have done away with. Remember, this is a phrase that has 3 parts. Done away with. And then, often after phrasal verbs. Technically, this is a phrasal verb, to do away with, because we have a verb plus at least one particle, preposition, or adverb. And altogether, it's one action. So this is a phrasal verb, actually. After a phrasal verb, we have 2 options. You can add an ing verb, or you can add a noun. So I want them to do away with the traffic lights, or I have done away with memorizing phrasal verbs. But yeah, it depends. So this is one where you always need to have something after this phrasal verb. It doesn't make sense to only say, I do away with. It's like, okay, you do away with what? You have to add something after this one. And so you always need to add after this phrase, ing verb or just a noun. It is the same as to get rid of. Yeah, I want them to get rid of. I want them to do away with. Yeah, it's a synonym of get rid of. Although, here's what I think. Like, if you are in traffic and you see traffic lights, you could say them both. I want them to get rid of these traffic lights. I want them to do away with these traffic lights. The idea is like, do something to eliminate them. I don't even care. I don't even want to see it. Do away with it. If you're in your kitchen cleaning with your roommate and you're looking at old food and you're like, should we get rid of this? It's not natural to say, like, should we do away with this? It feels very dramatic for the situation that you are throwing things away. So if, like, you're in your kitchen throwing things away, I would say get rid of. But if you're talking about, like, removing a traffic light or something that maybe other people need to come and remove, I would say more do away with in that sort of context. But they are synonyms. It's just like, in some contexts, get rid of makes more sense to use. I bought myself a dishwasher and now I have done away with washing the dishes with my own hands. Nice. I did away with eating only meat. It's not to be tired of, it's like to, like you are tired of it, but it's more like you want it to go away. So, to do away with something is like to make it go away, to make it not exist anymore. I have decided to do away with my fear while speaking English is perfect. It's not necessary to use I'm. I've decided to do away with my fear while speaking English. I do away with the project. Lincoln did away with slavery in the USA. True. The politicians did away with the congestion price. Nice. Maggie started to do away with consuming coffee for a longer time because she felt addicted. That's true. But I'm going to return to coffee because I love the taste of coffee. I just decided to do away with it for a couple weeks and drink this like fake coffee instead. I now did away with translators once I acquired English. Instead of invert money, it would be invest money. Yeah, I'm a big coffee fan. Okay, then we have to do over. If anyone has an example with to do over. Also, hi, if you guys are joining, we are practicing phrases today that use the word do. So, we should do away with bad habits to inculcate good habits. Nice. Hello. Welcome. So, we have to do over. This is to repeat something from the beginning because the first attempt was unsatisfactory. For example, I'll do the report over since I missed several key points. And this is one that's separable. So this is a phrasal verb also, but it's a phrasal verb that is separable. So we say, do it over, or I'm going to do the report over. That sounds the most natural with this one when we separate it. The Lord's land, The landlords. Yeah, the landlords told me you have to do away with your pets if you want to rent this house. That's very sad. I think a lot of landlords are like that. Only once I started to do away with coffee, and I'm probably never doing this again. Maybe I'll come back. It might do a number on me to do away with coffee, but we'll see. I'm starting to learn English because my nation is so chaos. Okay, well, welcome to the English class. I would love to do over with my life. I would say do my life over. It's not necessary to add any other preposition. Just do blah, blah, blah over. Do my life over. For instance. Yeah. Do over. Do the home painting over, maybe? I don't like the way you painted the house. Do it over. Do over the home painting. Please do your assignment carefully or you'll have to do it over. Nice. Since I completely messed, remember this one, Joelle, will be messed with an ED because you did the presentation in the past. Since I completely messed up the presentation, I'm doing it over again on Monday. Nice. Hello from Indonesia. Hi, welcome. We are practicing phrases with do today. You could say do it over again. This is like very conversational English where over has the meaning of again. In this case, if you do it over, it's like you do it again. But sometimes people also add the word again. So it's kind of redundant, but people will say, do it over again. And it's like, do it again. I studied again, but I should do it over. Yeah, so to do over is a phrasal verb that means to do something again. And this phrasal verb sounds the most natural when you separate it into two parts. And you just put the thing that you want to do over in the middle. Or you can say do it over. So it could be it, or it could be the thing that you want to do again. So do the project over. Do my life over. Do the report over. Yeah, you could say, I will do exercise over. I would say, yeah, maybe like, I didn't really feel my exercises the first time, so I'm going to do them over, maybe? I wouldn't do it over again with my broker. I like all of your like financial examples today, Sylvia. Very good. From a teacher to a student, please do it over. It is wrong. Yes, exactly. I need to do this work over by Friday. So instead of until, if you guys have a deadline, say by Friday. I really would like to do my vacation over. Exactly. I did a lot of mistakes in my past, and now I am doing the same things over. Okay, this is a tricky part with do and make. We make a mistake. So I made a lot of mistakes in my past, and now I'm doing them over. I need a do-over on my last diet. I accidentally ate a whole cake thinking it was a slice of life. Okay, this is a good point. when you have a thing, when you use do-over like a noun, yeah, you can say, I need a do-over. It's like another way to say, I need to do it over. I need a do-over. I wasn't able to do it over because of the bad weather. Let me download the file and do it over. My tasks are wrong. I need to do them over. Okay, I have another one. You should do it over and over because practice makes perfect. Nice. Okay, to do without something. This is to manage despite not having something. So, for example, during the power cut, I'll write an example here. During the power cut, we had to do without air conditioning for 2 days. So, to do without something is kind of like to manage or survive without something. So it's not always comfortable. During the power cut, we had to do without air conditioning for 2 days. It's similar to go without. Exactly. You can say to do without something or to go without. Didn't I send you over the homework? I would do this recipe over again. If you come over tomorrow, you have to do it over? Okay. I guess it depends on the context. A power cut is when the electricity goes black where you are. So the power is like another way to say the electricity, and the electricity stops working. Like maybe you have a tornado, a hurricane, or some sort of natural disaster, and the electricity stops working. A blackout. Yeah. I can do without a dishwasher. Yeah, it's like, imagine you're looking for a house and you want a house that has everything that you need. And you could say, well, this house is a good price, so I can do without a dishwasher. I don't need that. I don't need that type of appliance. When we went camping, in the mountains, I would say. When we went camping in the mountains, or when we went to the mountains to camp. But yeah, when we went camping in the mountains, we had to do without internet for countless days. That's a good example. Yeah, so anytime that you don't have a service that you normally have, or you need to make a sacrifice or a choice to not have something, that is to do without something. I'm thinking also, okay, that's like the main use of this, but I've heard before, like people that, people that say something like, yeah, I could do without my boss breathing down my neck all the time. And that's like a very sarcastic way to use this expression. It's like, yeah, I could do without his annoying voice. So that's like a sarcastic way to use it if you actually use it with something that you don't like. I can do without the extra amenities in my apartment. Yeah, nice. At my grandparents' house in the countryside, I had to do without a bathroom. Oh my goodness. Did you use the bathroom in the woods? Let me see. You don't have to cook the lunch. I can do it without you. That's true. Yeah, that's a different use. That is like, we use to do without plus an object to say to manage without something or like survive without it. But yeah, you could also, this is just using the word without as the preposition. I can do this without you. That would be like another way to use the word without. Okay, yeah, I can go over all the expressions that we went over so far. I can do without my best friend during the party. I can't do without my family. I cannot do without books and Charmin's orientation. I do have the same thought as you think. I feel like, I don't know what you mean 100%, but I think the same thing as you, or I have the same thought as you would be perfect. Or I'm thinking what you're thinking. Because people are like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? So I'm thinking the same thing as you, maybe. I'm thinking the same thing as you. My grandparents had only a toilet outside. A plumps, clo. Yeah, we call that, if you have an outside toilet, we call it an outhouse. An outhouse. Okay, so far, here are all of the expressions that we've practiced. We did to do a double take, right? To do a double take is you see someone doing something and you're like, what? And you look a second time. That's to do a double take. The other ones that we did were to do someone a favor. So that is, bye, good night. To do someone a favor, I think self-explanatory. To do someone good. So for instance, a short walk in the fresh air will do you good. To do a number on someone. So that prank he pulled really did a number on her confidence. To do away with. Many schools have done away with uniforms to promote individuality. And then the last two that we did were to do over. I'll do the report over since I missed several key points. And to do without, which is during the power cut, we had to do without air conditioning for 2 days. So if there's a bathroom outside, that would be an outhouse. So if you guys have seen, I don't know, like in the movie Shrek, he has that like wooden box outside his house where he uses the bathroom. That's called an outhouse. Your accent is slick. Yeah, English is my native language. I'm from Washington, D.C. in the US. Is it wrong to say make a question? Is it always ask a question? Yes, it's always ask a question. Yeah. If you say make a question, people will understand you, but it's not natural sounding. It's best to say ask a question. Yeah, of course, you're welcome. So there was one more. Oh, okay. There's one more that I'll tell you guys, because this one's easier to remember. To do time. To do time is to serve a prison sentence. So after the fraud was uncovered, he did time in state prison. This is just like someone going to prison. So after the fraud was uncovered, he did time in state prison. So to do time, Yeah, to do time is like to serve time in jail. Um, okay, that's a good rhyme, silly sausage. You do the crime, you do the time. Exactly. Exactly. So if you do a crime, then there's a possibility you need to do time. To do time is to go to jail. So he did time in state prison, the same as saying he went to jail in state prison. You could say, maybe you get out of jail and someone's like, hey man, you're a terrible person because you robbed someone. You could say, hey, I did my time. Like, I already did my time. um, Help me, how's the word pronunciation? Worth. Worth. It's the same as the word birth. Worth. The is the same like with her, like her or girl, worth, worth. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it to do time? Is prison break a term commonly used? If you're talking about people escaping from prison, yeah. For that reason, I feel like it's not a very common situation. So I don't know. I don't know if it's something you would use in conversation every day, but like if you said that, I would understand someone that escaped prison. Jeffrey Dahmer did time in jail for murdering a lot of people. Yeah, you could add an adjective. Well, instead of an adjective, he did a lot of time. You could add a quantifier, right? So he did so much time. He did a lot of time. So I think those would technically be like not adjectives. Are those adverbs? They're quantifiers. I don't remember what that would be considered. But yeah, you could add a quantifier. He did a lot of time. He did so much time. It's like paying for your fault. Exactly. You will do time if you steal that. Yes, exactly. I have to do my time for another year. Yeah, if something feels like you're in jail, you could say, I need to do my time for another year. Hi, Will. Yeah, actually, we're gonna end the live soon, but welcome. Break out of prison. Yeah, you break out of okay, so if you enter someone's house without their permission, you break in, like someone breaks into your house. And then if you leave a place without permission, like jail, you break out of the jail. He's doing 7 years for fraud. Yes. Yeah, you could add a number also. So he's doing 7 years. Instead of time, you could replace it with the number of years. Going to work feels like I'm doing time. Yeah. Also a good example because we have, again, the ing verb at the beginning. Also, yeah, I started doing my lives now they're going to be at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, I don't do them at 11 a.m. Chile time anymore because the time in the rest of the world changed, and I was like, well, I'm gonna change them just for my classes, just for the Chileans. The congressman from Long Island is doing time in prison. Exactly. Yeah, so we had quite a few examples today of different expressions. Main tips from today. Remember, if something is a fixed expression with do, we can't replace it with make. Can I say fulfill time? No, that wouldn't sound natural. I would say serve time or do time. Both of those would sound natural when you're talking about going to prison. And we don't always have a logical explanation for idioms. Sometimes phrasal verbs or idioms are kind of worded in a way that doesn't seem logical to us, because sometimes they come from long ago, like an expression people used in boxing or in a specific context, and the context is no longer part of the situation, but the other additional meaning that it had is. So that's why we continue to use idioms even though the context doesn't directly make sense to us anymore. Which happens in every language, right? In every language we have expressions where the literal meaning is no longer really relevant. So if you're from Chile, there's a lot of expressions like hacer una vaca, andar pato. It's like, what does that mean literally? So, doing my head is a good one. What is doing my head? Do time is, if you say to do time, then I would understand that you're doing time in jail. Yeah. And if you say you're doing time at work, it's like a joke. Like you're saying that you're in jail at work. Did you find Spanish illogical and weird at first? Yeah, definitely. Like for me, the expressions like, for instance, if you say something like, me afecta, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's like, me affects. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I had to kind of speak backwards in Spanish. That's honestly the best thing you can do in English is abandon the translation and try to speak like, it's funny. It seems like you're speaking like Yoda in a way if you compare it with your native language. So when you're able to kind of accept that, your English is going to get a lot better. So there are, I think in a way, because, right, languages develop separately from each other. Like English developed separately from Spanish. Any time that there is a common phrase that translates like perfectly, it's kind of a miracle. It's not really to be expected because, like I grew up not knowing any Spanish. So why would I speak in a way similar to a Spanish speaker or have the same ideas? I had to learn a completely different way of thinking in order to make sense in Spanish. Do time is only used in that context when you do something bad? Yeah, it's specifically related to prison when you say that you did time. So I would only use it when talking about someone going to jail. Learning prepositions is doing my head in. Yes, it's like making something really annoying. Exactly. Yeah, if something does your head in, it makes you feel really annoyed and upset. Exactly. Do you agree we must reduce and even lose our accents? No. I posted a video about this. It's one of my pinned videos in case you guys missed it. But I don't think you need to lose your accent, but you do need to practice pronunciation because pronunciation is really important for different reasons. Not that you need to sound like a native speaker, but for instance, if you practice your intonation, it helps people understand you a lot better. So, for example, if you go to a store and you're like, hey, do you happen to have any soap? Hey, do you happen to have any soap? Even if your grammar is not 100%, if you're like, hey, have you soap? the person will understand exactly what you wanted to say just because you used the correct intonation. So a lot of our understanding of people is not the literal words that they say. It's actually their body language, their tone. We make a lot of predictions when we listen. So the more you can speak with an intonation that is common and not like, do you happen to have soap? You're helping the other person understand you better when you speak with an intonation more common in the language. Another thing is that when you don't, when you don't feel confident in your pronunciation, it really affects your ability to like use certain words. So a lot of my students feel insecure with their pronunciation, so they don't use words like comfortable, available, irresponsible. Like some people don't use specific words just because they are not sure how to pronounce them. And so that's where you need to practice your pronunciation because that's a barrier to your fluency. And then also in English, it's necessary to practice your pronunciation because a lot of patterns that happen are not the same in the written language as with the spoken language, right? So if you have the words in the past, got, taught, bought, caught, sought, you can notice these patterns that repeat of certain sounds like, oh, okay, ah, that's used with the past tense. But if you only pay attention to the way that words are written in English, you're not going to see the patterns of pronunciation that exist because the spelling and pronunciation are separate. So it's necessary to practice your pronunciation, but it's not necessary to have an accent like a native speaker. Definitely it depends on where you are, but there are people that treat you differently when they hear an accent. I will say, like, I recognize that I have a lot more positive discrimination being from the United States and living in Chile compared to a Latin American immigrant in the US. Like, I'm very conscious of that. But at the same time, it happens to me too, where sometimes, like, when people hear you with an accent, they instantly think, like, oh, maybe she doesn't know any Spanish, or something like that. But I think, in a way, I think that's kind of ignorance. I think that it's people that don't really know the process of learning another language and how you can have an accent but also be fluent in a language, and a lot of people are. So it's not really about you if that happens to you. It's more about the other person. On Instagram, I do lives on Saturdays at 10 Eastern Standard Time, and on TikTok on Tuesdays and Fridays at like 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I consider that some foreign accents are appealing in Spanish. Is it the same for Americans? Yeah, I would say so. There are some, it depends on who you're talking to. Like, there are some people that are just like, speak English, and have like a terrible vibe and are like xenophobic. But there are a lot of people that are like, ooh, I love your accent. I love a French accent. I love a Spanish accent. I love an Italian accent. So I don't think everyone is like that. There are also people that are interested in other cultures that like accents. All right. Well, nice to have the class with you all today. Very interesting discussion here at the end about accents. And I do have that video pinned to my profile about pronunciation. So if you didn't catch really what I was saying, you could also watch the video. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm going to post this full live to... I never heard I have a German accent. You do, you have a... Oh, that I love a German accent? This is my interpretation of a German accent in English. Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about phrasal verbs. That wasn't a good German accent. I was trying to use the German pronunciation rules with English. All right, have a good weekend. Yeah, I have lives here once a week. I also teach classes and work a lot, so I can't be full-time Instagram, but I'm here once a week. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye. At least 3 per week. Okay. I feel like to demand that of someone is kind of crazy. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Yeah, it was a bad accent.